Hello and welcome to this Fotospeed video with me, Tim Jones, and this week I am joined by Julian Baird.
Hello there.
To do some videos with us today.
Yeah.
So we've got a tight schedule.
We have, but looking forward to it. Lots of things to talk about.
So this video we are going to look at, I suppose it's part of the Printing 101 series that we've been doing, and we haven't done one for a while, so we thought we'd do one. And looking at getting the setup of your printer and getting that success first time, really, and going through a few points that we've got, and I've got some lovely notes down here so I don't forget anything, about getting your printer set up and finding those settings that work for you. So when you make that first print out of your printer, you're not so disappointed, I suppose.
Exactly. You want to have your first print to be a magical one, a magical experience when you get your photograph and you go, wow. Yeah. And then you're on that journey.
Perfect. So we've come up with a little bit of a checklist to go through, and you don't have to do each of these, but it's just something to bear in mind and to think about. And hopefully there might be one or two things on there that you're thinking, oh yeah, I didn't really consider that, or kind of thing. But there's probably some obvious things on here as well, so bear with us. So before we get started though, don't forget to subscribe to the Fotospeed YouTube channel and sign up to the Fotospeed newsletter on fotospeed.com. Again, I'll put all the links in the description below for this. Also, don't forget to download the free Art of Printing, the free ebook from us. So again, links in the description for you. Okay, so that's that bit, the housekeeping out of the way. So let's start with my first point I've got on my list here, which we've got looking at your workspace and your environment you're putting the printer in, I think, to start with. I think so. I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, I think it's a really important consideration, because you want your printing experience to be fun, and you don't want your printer to be tucked away in a cupboard in a tight space, or there's not good lighting, or it's not a good area. You don't want it in your garage, for example. Your laptop's nice and warm inside your little snug, but your printer's out in the garage where it can get dusty and stuff like that. So the first thing to think about is, where am I going to put my printer? And that sometimes will be driven by the size of the printer that you have. So obviously if you're buying something like an Image Prograph 2600, a different sphere there, but for most people, they're going to buy something like if you're looking at Canon, like a Pro 310, or maybe a Pro 1100. And just to have a think about where it's going to be, what the lighting is, physically how big that printer is, and what sort of table you're going to put on. And the important thing is you look at the specifications of your printer, you look at the width, and you look at the depth, but also bear in mind you've got tray feeds at the back that you want to be able to extend out, and the feed at the front where your print comes out. So have a think about those things, and then just try and find a space. You don't need a lot of space, but just find a space where that's going to sit comfortably. I'll give you an example. I've got a Pro 1100. I've got it on a little IKEA table. It's on casters, so I can kind of tuck it away in the corner, but when I need to bring it out, I can slide it out a little bit, and that allows me to extend.
It's quite a nice idea.
It's quite a nice idea.
If you've got the space as well. Obviously, these are all kind of space dependent. I think the lighting conditions are really important as well to think about. That generally with printing, we want a nice daylight lit room, really. And it could be that you have to get artificial lights in to do that, so lighting or daylight lighting somewhere, or viewing lights. Or if it's a nice light, airy room, you've got the windows, obviously, and things like that.
I use the windows a lot. I mean, my printer's just at the corner where the window is, and I get lots of natural daylight, and it's north facing, so it tends to don't get the direct sunlight, but I get the light in anyway, and it's a really nice experience for viewing the prints. But I've also got some artificial temperature controlled lights as well.
We just thought we'd kind of talk about the environment and room you're going to put it in, because it's something that possibly you might not think about, and kind of just something that it's not the techie side of things, but it's practical things like the paper feeds at the back and things like that.
Because the more time you spend faffing trying to get stuff in, the less likely you are to use it. So you want it just to be a nice experience, nice and easy for yourself.
Okay. Now, we've got some next points we've got about like the initial setup and how we go about kind of installing the inks and making sure everything is done correctly. Now, I know this is something you've done recently because you just got a Canon Pro 1100. So I think the thing we were talking about before we kind of press record on the video was it's to take your time, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's setting up a printer, while not particularly complicated, it's not a job for 10 p.m. on a Sunday evening.
No.
You know, give yourself a good couple of hours. And I know it goes against the grain for some people, but read the instructions. I mean, a lot of these printers won't come with manuals anymore.
No, you have to go on the website.
You have to go on the website, or certainly the Canon printers. So I'll mention Canon because
some printers are the same. I think I know your point.
Got a little LCD display.
Yeah.
They show you how to put the inks in. They show you how to install the print head. Yeah. Just take your time. Give yourself the space to lay stuff out. Get everything unboxed so you know where all the ink tanks are, the print headers, and just take the time. Follow the instructions. Don't be in a rush. Modern printers are quite hard to get things wrong. Touch wood. It's really hard to put the ink cartridge in the wrong way around or to mess up the print head. But just make sure you're well relaxed, caffeinated, nice lit area, and you can take your time to do the installation.
I think with the Canons, especially when you've got to install the print head, it's take your time doing that. Make sure you're not touching any of the print head and things like that. And make sure you can't get the inks wrong now.
No.
It will tell you if you put one in wrong. But just take your time. Just do it and just take your time just going through it. You don't want to force anything. And make sure you get all that tape off as well. I think that's
there's a lot of tape.
Yeah.
But they come well packaged, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. Okay. So once you've got it out and you followed all those lovely videos, and I have to say those little animations and videos
are pretty useful.
They're pretty good. Yeah. And you're thinking, wow, it might even, with the tape as well, it might even say, oh yeah, it's at the back, and it'll show you a picture of the back and things like that. I've had that before. And both Epson and Canon do that now as well, which is great. Now, the software setup as well is kind of another point, really. And make sure you get the right drivers from Epson or Canon's website downloaded for your operating system as well. Just double check you've got that. Get that installed. We've got lots of videos on the channel about doing that as well. So have a check of our Printing 101 and kind of have a look at where we get those from. It's really important. I know sometimes if you don't install the drivers, then your colors won't come out correctly and you won't be able to do your color management and things like that. Or simply you won't be able to use the printer, it just won't print. I know on Macs that is notorious at the minute. So please just make sure you install and get the correct software as well.
I think it's probably also worth pointing out a lot of these printers now don't come with the drivers on CDs.
No,
I mean, who has a CD-ROM for a start?
Yeah, exactly.
But what you can do is once you've made your decision about what printer you're going to purchase, go to the manufacturer's website while you're waiting for it to be delivered from Fotospeed, obviously, and then take your time to select the right driver that matches your operating system. So you've already got all that stuff downloaded.
Idea, yeah.
Do it in advance.
Yeah,
you don't need to wait for the printer to arrive.
You have to. To get it all downloaded. Some of it you can even install, can't you? You don't have to have the printer connected. Sometimes, I know on Windows, sometimes you need it connected, don't you? But on Macs, I know you can definitely install it and not keen. On that though, there are softwares that you can also get that you can download beforehand from Epson and Canon, like their own layout and printing softwares, which they're good, aren't they? I
mean, again, because I'm a Canon user, but I use Canon's professional print and layout software. I never get the name right, but that software is one of the easiest ways to get a print right. It's also a consistent user interface. So whether you're printing from Lightroom or Photoshop, or some other third-party bit of software, or you've just got a TIFF file that you want to print, using the native software will provide you that consistent experience because the interfaces are slightly different even between the Adobe products. So that consistency will reduce the amount of mistakes that you made. And it's quite well logically laid out as well in terms of
just work your way down.
Just work your way down.
Looks a bit like Lightroom.
It looks a bit like Lightroom. It can seem a bit overwhelming to start with, but it is quite logical in the way it's set up. And that will help give you that first print that will come out well.
Yeah. And it also kind of takes away any problems with Windows or Apple's OS, and it just takes away those kind of problems that you can have with that because it has it all built in as well.
And there's no difference in print quality. Whatever software you use, you'll get the same results. It's all about that interface and that user experience.
Yeah, and what you're used to be honest. If you had a printer before and you're printing through Photoshop or Lightroom and you're really happy with that, then carry on using it. It's what is consistent and gives you the best results, really. Exactly. Now, when you come to make that first print, you've installed it, it's all working, it says it's connected, and you think, I'm ready to click print now. There are a few things just to bear in mind and think about when you're doing this. Obviously, you're all going to be using lovely Fotospeed paper. out there, but make sure you're selecting the right media types. Now we produce a media type document which gives you equivalent for Epson and Canon printers on there. So like if you're using a matte paper, you can use heavyweight fine art or Epson velvet fine art. And there's loads and loads of other media types on there. So you just find the paper you're working on, you look across and you find the media types that are associated with your manufacturer printer. It just helps colour. It also helps with paper thicknesses, how much ink is going to go down on the page as well. And also if you've got a matte black and photo black, which black ink to use basically, because otherwise it will look really faded and horrible if you're printing with the wrong black ink. Also on that note, ICC profiles.
ICC profiles, all very important. And I think probably just to quickly add, before we talk about ICC profiles, it's always suggests that the first image that you print is an image that you're familiar with.
Yes.
Something you've lived with for quite some time. I know it's quite tempting. You've been out and you captured an image last week and you're desperate to print it. But I think having that familiarity with a picture that you know really well, you know the colours, you know the tones, you know the areas of light and dark, is really important for your very, very first print, because you'll see it and you'll know whether it's right or wrong. And the other thing is, if your printer also comes with some paper from the manufacturer, that's always quite a good test as well. I mean, obviously we do recommend Fotospeed papers on your printing journey, but those papers they're designed to work with that printer. So if you want to know quickly that you've got your setup right, use the manufacturer's sample paper on an image that you know very well, print that off, and once you know that that's all set up, it's a quite good quick check.
Because they've got the media types built in, which will also have the profiles built in
and
as
the
well.
thicknesses and everything else is taken away from you. So it's a nice, easy first print. Particularly if this is your first printer, that's a great way to give you that wow factor.
And give you that confidence that, I've done everything. I've clicked all the right buttons at least. So now the
inks aren't upside down and stuff like that.
Now there's something, if something else comes out, there's a problem there. But I think the profiles are important though, and ICC profiles. We do generic profiles that you can download from our website, which are custom, like canned profiles that we make here on the particular printers in the office. But we also do the custom profiling service as well, which is a free service we offer. Now it can make a huge difference, and I've got some examples on the page. I will do some closer.
Sorry, Tim, the question is, what is an ICC profile?
So an ICC profile stands for International Colour Consortium, ICC, if anyone's interested. But basically it tells the printer how to print the colour correctly. Now we put probably correctly in inverted commas because obviously correctly can be very disputed and personal preference. But there is a standardised set of colour that is used, and the International Colour Consortium basically govern this standardised set of patches and colour that can be used. So hopefully the idea is you will calibrate your screen, which is another good point that I would probably recommend doing, that we kind of missed out in the setup kind of thing. But it's worth calibrating your screen with a little calibrator, say from like Calibrite. And this will analyse the colour on your screen and fire loads of patches at you through the screen and create a profile of your screen and make little adjustments basically to make the colours display correctly according to the ICC on your screen. The same happens with your printer and certain papers as well that you'd like to use. So we print off a big chart. I'll put a picture of this on the screen of different colour patches. You can send that in to us and we can measure it. And that becomes a custom profile, or you can download ones that we've made here on our demo printers here in the office, and you can use those as well. And what it does is it marries up the colour between your screen and what comes out of your printer basically, and makes the colour display correctly.
Yeah,
I think I've explained that.
I think because what it really is about, it's about giving you consistency, isn't it?
Yes.
Making sure that every print looks exactly the same when you use that.
And you don't get weird colours like we've got here basically. So this is kind of one. I printed this leaf picture here without a profile, and we got these really weird, funny results. And this can happen also if the drivers are incorrect as well. So colour management isn't being applied correctly. Whereas this one here, where I applied the correct profile, we've kind of got a nice looking colour that we'd expect, which is what we saw on the screen effectively. And that's what ICC profiles can do.
It doesn't have to be complicated, does it? It sounds complicated,
no,
doesn't
no,
it?
it's
ICC
not.
profiles and
No,
all that
no,
kind of
no.
stuff, but it's actually relatively straightforward action.
You can just apply them in the software. And I've got probably a good number of videos anyway, going through ICC profiles and printing the charts off. And you can always speak to us as well about it. And like I say, it's a free service we kind of offer if you've got the printer or using our papers. And it's well worth doing because it just takes away that little bit of guesswork.
Accuracy and consistency, that's what you want. Yeah.
Yeah, and in the end, it's all about like accuracy, consistency, because in the end, that will save you a bit of money and time, to be honest, with ink and paper, and also sat there agonising over all those bad prints you've got or not correct prints.
And it goes back to the time thing as well. Take your time when you're doing your printing.
Yeah.
I can kind of do it in my sleep now. I've done that much of it. But make sure that when you go through whatever software you're using, you have selected the right paper type, you have selected the right ICC profile. Don't do these things in a hurry, because you'll get caught out and you'll end up with a funny colour green. And that's the most common mistake, isn't it? It's just, I haven't selected the right paper.
It's about, I think we've got a little note here about common mistakes and things, but I think it really is about that. It's taking your time, being methodical with it, and just working it. That's why some of the layout softwares are quite good, because you can just work your way down. Their settings aren't all in different places, which they could be in like Photoshop or Lightroom. You could just work your way down and say, yes, I'm using that paper. I want that quality setting, perhaps on high settings. I've got the profile in there as well. We can select that in there. Also check your borders and margins and things like that, because there's nothing worse than printing it out and you've got a perfect print and you've got a bigger border at one end than the other.
Or what I've done before is you've got a tiny little postage stamp of a picture on an A2 page.
Check your page size as well. Make sure you've got the right size.
Like you say, be methodical, taking your time, and just checking through. Yeah.
But I think that basically covered it. I can't think, if you think of anything else.
I think there's a bit of fear about printing, but actually, if you take it down, you break it down to some of the methodical steps that we've talked about here, it's actually quite straightforward in today's world.
It should be. I think when I do demonstrations on printing, I think that's the big thing that some people say is like, "Oh, is that it?"
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that straightforward.
There's more in kind of the processing side and getting your image right on screen, but what you see on the screen then should translate to what comes out your printer near enough. There is kind of a slight expectation management perhaps between screen and print, especially if you've got a glossy screen and you're printing on a matte paper and things like this. That's a whole other debate, I suppose. But there is a slight element of that, but really it's just about setting those settings. So get your media type, profile, and paper size, and
having fun with it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why we do photography, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's fun, and the printing should just be an extension of that.
Definitely. So I think that covers everything we can think of. If you think of anything else, please put them in the comments below, and please, if we think you've missed anything. But on that note, we will finish, and as always, don't forget to subscribe to the Fotospeed YouTube channel and sign up to the Fotospeed newsletter and download The Art of Printing. One thing left to do is thank Julian for joining me today.
Pleasure.
And hope that we will see Julian in a lot more videos in the coming months as well, and weeks. So on that note, we'll say bye-bye.